Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10 and support the channel at the same time. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to this special edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch, where we're going to look at the top 10 cards you want to open this weekend at your Ixalan pre-release. At the time of recording, it's Friday. The pre-releases begin midnight tonight, and they will continue throughout the weekend. Hopefully you'll get out to one and get to play with these cards. Now, a quick note about the values you're going to see in today's video. These are pre-release values, so they are solely based right now on speculation, and they will change dramatically over the next few weeks and months, and that's pretty much a given as the metagame evolves and we get closer to the Pro Tour, and then we see what does well at the Pro Tour. That always garners a lot of attention, and then a lot of packs are being opened throughout that whole time period. So combine all those factors, and yeah, take these values right now, at least with a grain of salt a little bit. But I do think it's still important to know these values going into the weekend, because maybe you play in your event and then you want to do some trades or you want to sell some cards back to your LGS. I think it's critically important that all players are at least vaguely familiar with the values so no one gets pulled into a bad deal. Now, quickly before we get started, if you're looking for a way to support the channel and what we do here, check out the description below. You'll find a few ways to do so. Our Patreon page is linked down there. You'll also find some Amazon product links. If you make any purchases on Amazon, once you go through those links, we'll get a small percentage no matter what it is. And then also Flipside Gaming is linked below. They provided a promo code for a discount for our viewers, so check that out. They are doing pre-orders right now too for Ixalan as well as Iconic Masters. So with that being said, let's get into the cards for today. Now, before we get into our top 10, I do want to give two honorable mentions. The two cards we're going to look at first are not cards you can open in your Ixalan packs, but they're actually the Planeswalker deck, Planeswalkers. And many times stores will sell those decks during the pre-release weekend. So I do have questions about the value of these Planeswalkers sometimes, so I just wanted to put this information out there so everyone knows at least the current value of these. So Huatli Dinosaur Knight, currently valued at $8.87. And Jace Ingenious Mind Mage right now at $8.91. Now, I should point out that these cards are standard legal. You can use them in standard decks, but they are purposely costed to be more for casual play. They're going to be best out of the box playing against each other in these decks. They're going to be good for some commander decks too, so commander players a lot of times will want to pick these up, and they might want just the single. They don't want to pay the full price for the deck, so that's why these particular cards will hold a little bit of value. But again, keep in mind, once these decks start hitting like the big box stores in a couple weeks and you start seeing many, many copies out there in the market, these will decline relatively rapidly. All right, let's move on to our regular Ixalan cards now. Coming in at number 10, Dire Fleet Ravinder, $4.57. This one's a mythic. This is an alright card. I like the Menace Death Touch combination. It does feel a little awkward to me though at the 5 casting cost spot. I feel like there's a lot of good 5 casting cost cards in the set. You're going to see more on the list in a few moments. So I do think this card does have a home maybe in some commander decks that are trying to do some early significant damage to the entire table. And if you're in the market for something like that, it could be a fine card for you. Number 9, Vona Butcher of Megan, $5.86. This is another mythic. I think this one might be even slightly undervalued, at least initially, just because of the fact that even though the card feels a little middle of the road, considering it's a 5 casting cost card again, this time for a 4/4 Vigilance Lifelink with a special ability attached to it. But I will say this. In the current meta, I probably would say I don't really see this seeing play, but considering we're losing so much of the standard meta through rotation, that a lot of cards that are maybe middle of the road cards might start to see play that would normally not see play. And also, too, look where the meta is. It's a very aggressive meta, and I don't think that's going to change too much because Ramunap Red's not going anywhere. If anything, it's getting better with inclusions like Lightning Strike. And then beyond that, the Pirates can be a very aggro build as well, and I do think they will see standard play. So with all these aggro decks existing and the fact that the card pool is much narrower, I do think this does see standard play. I think it's also important to remember the popularity of those Commander 2017 decks, especially that Vampire deck, and this is an awesome upgrade for that build. Number 8, Gishath Sun's Avatar. $6.01, another mythic. Now, this is your Dinosaur Commander. If you're looking to build a Dinosaur Commander deck, you're going to go to this card, and it's going to do a lot of work for you in that build. Regisaur Alpha at number 7, $8.17. This is the first rare on the list, so keep that in mind when it comes to availability and packs being open and such. However, I will say this about the card. This is going to be a key card in the Dinosaur build, and a lot of people are already brewing Dinosaur decks that look pretty sweet. Gruul dinosaur decks look really aggressive, really straightforward, and also really economical. So I do think those will definitely cross over into standard. I have seen some brews that are trying to go a little more Naya, maybe splash some white, but at least initially, I think those Gruul decks are going to be great. And regardless of what you're doing, this is going to be a key card for you if you're into dinosaurs. Number 6, Ripjaw Raptor, $9.96. Now, we saw the 5-drop for that deck. Well, guess what? Here's the 4-drop. This card is super sweet. Ability to potentially draw cards on top of a 4/5 for 5. This is awesome, again, for that dinosaur build. It's another rare, so keep that in mind as packs get open, but another key card that will play a big role in standard. Number 5, Huatli Warrior Poet, $13.32. So I like this card a lot, and I do think it will see some standard play. I'm a little concerned, though, about one thing. The fact that, again, the brews for the dinosaur decks just look really streamlined in Gruul, which might elbow her out of the meta a little bit. Now, some folks may eventually start to experiment, try to splash a little bit of white for her, because I do think she is good in a dinosaur build. But again, she is competing with some great 5-drops, like the one we just saw with Regisaur Alpha. So I'm a little worried about her, at least in the short term. So she might see some value loss. In fact, I'm sure she will see some value loss, considering she's at a pre-order price of $13.32 right now. It's a little high, I think. And maybe down the road, she'll see more play as some of those decks begin to develop a little bit and try to plug some of the holes. But at least initially, I think a lot of people are going to try to go more streamlined. Number 4, Vraska Relic Seeker, $14.62. Here's another card that is really good. Raw power level is definitely there for this card. It doesn't really fit into the dinosaur build right now. The dinosaur build is what a lot of eyes are on, a lot of attention's on. But I do think there's a good pirate build out there too that maybe hasn't quite garnered the same amount of attention. And if that's the case, this card, I think, makes it into there. This card can also just see play in just random decks, like even like energy decks and stuff. Like, this is just a good card if you're in Golgari colors. So this will find a home. But I do think with the attention being on dinosaurs right now that you'll see more drops from her over the first couple weeks as packs are getting open. But then eventually she will find her place in the format. Number 3, Jace Cunning Castaway at $15.58. I feel very similar about this card as I do Vraska. I do think this is a pretty high price point initially, and as packs get open, this will come down a little bit. I also feel like this will see standard play, though, and again, it's just not in the spotlight as much because the dinosaurs are there right now. So Jace will fit into decks. You compare this card to Vraska, it doesn't feel as powerful, obviously, but of course this costs half as much to cast, and that's very, very important, and will definitely have a role, I think, in a number of decks while it's in standard. Number 2, Growing Rights of Itlimoc, which transforms into Itlimoc Cradle of the Sun, currently valued at $16.40. And first and foremost, I want to point out that this is a rare, not a mythic, a very high price point for a rare. Once packs start to get open, a lot of copies will begin to get out there and this price will stabilize. But with that being said, this card is going to see play in a lot of different places. It could see modern play. It's probably going to see standard play. It's definitely going to see commander play. So there's a lot of cross appeal with this card, and it's going to be a hot card. But do keep in mind it is a rare, and that will affect the price point going forward. Coming in at number 1, Carnage Tyrant, $29.95 right now. That's crazy to think that you have a $30 valued card that's not a Planeswalker during a pre-release of a set. That's awesome. Now, this card is a dinosaur. It's a mythic. It's phenomenal. It's a control hoser. It's the 6th spot in that dinosaur deck. We saw a great 5-drop. We saw a great 4-drop. Well, here's your 6-drop. And it's going to be awesome, I have no doubt. Now, this price point's pretty high, though. And you have to think about this along the lines as other mythics that have high price points currently. Like maybe, for example, Chandra Torch of Defiance. Now, the big difference between this and a card like Chandra is Chandra fits into numerous standard decks currently. This card is going to be a little more pigeonholed into dinosaur decks or other stompy decks as time goes on, but you're not going to see this show up in like control decks or aggro decks necessarily, right? So because of that, it's not going to have that same cross appeal as Chandra. You could argue that this set won't get open as much as Kaladesh, and it probably won't. I do think this set is going to be more comparable to Eldritch Moon or maybe Shadows over Innistrad when it comes to how many packs are open. So because of that, this could do a decent job of at least holding value throughout its time in standard. but a $30 price point is pretty high for this card, I think. There is a lot of hype around this. This actually spiked quite a bit over the last 48 hours, so I am anticipating a little bit of a snapback as the people who are trying to build these early dinosaur decks get their hands on this card, and everyone else is going to kind of wait and see where the meta goes. So expect a pretty big drop in this over the next couple weeks. Might go down to like $25 to $22, I think, relatively quickly. And then we'll just kind of wait and see what happens with the meta, and that's going to dictate what its price point is going to be over the next few months, most likely. So with that being said, those are the cards for today. Have an awesome pre-release. Let me know how it goes. Love to hear what you open, what crazy pulls you get. Love to hear how you do, your record, how everything goes. And hey, what's important? Did you have a good time? Did you have fun? So let me know in the comments below of this video or some of the others going forward. But until next time, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.